What if the person you saved destroyed your entire life, then came back asking for forgiveness? She found him bleeding in an alley, a stranger with no memory and expensive clothes torn to shreds. She had nothing, 3 jobs, a cramped apartment, barely surviving, but she gave him everything anyway. She didn't know he was Korea's most powerful heir, running from an empire and an arranged marriage he couldn't endure. When the truth exploded, the media turned her kindness into scandal. She lost her job, her reputation, her peace. He lost her. But some stories don't end when people walk away. Some love demands a second chance, no matter how impossible it seems. This is a story about 2 people from opposite worlds, bound by a moment of compassion that changed everything. Stay until the end, because what happens when he finds her again will either destroy you or restore your faith in love. He had it all. Wealth, influence, a kingdom built on his family's name. But when the walls closed in, all he craved was escape. And the woman who saved him? She had no idea who he was or what empire he was fleeing. Before you pass judgment, before your heart gets tangled in this, stay until the very end, because some vanishing acts are really just desperate cries for liberation. If raw, emotional tales move you, hit that subscribe button because this journey will shatter you and piece you back together all at once. Min Jae-sung was the type of man who made rooms go silent when he entered. At 31, sharp-suited and calculating, he was next in line to command one of South Korea's most formidable business empires. His signature graced billion-dollar deals. A single word from him could destroy livelihoods. Yet sitting in his chauffeur-driven sedan, watching a world that felt increasingly alien, he felt hollow inside. Empty. Like he was already gone. 3 decades of breathing, and Min Jae-sung had never once chosen anything for himself. Not his education, not his career path, not even what he ate for breakfast. Every decision had been filtered through family expectations, corporate strategies, dynasty-building calculations. He was programmed to command, to dominate, to sacrifice personal desires on the altar of legacy. Feelings were luxuries he couldn't afford. Until they told him who he'd be spending forever with. Her name was Park Soo-jin, daughter of another corporate titan. Stunning, accomplished, but emotionally distant as winter frost. Their union wasn't about compatibility or affection. It was a strategic alliance, a business transaction dressed up in wedding silk. The contract had been drafted months ago. Save the dates were already circulating among Seoul's elite. Media outlets were salivating over what they called the merger of the century. But Jae-sung harbored a dangerous secret. He had zero intention of walking down that aisle. He wasn't naive. Simply running would be suicide. His father's network spanned continents. The press would hunt him like prey. Every industry connection would be weaponized against him. So he hatched something audacious, something unthinkable for someone of his status. He would orchestrate his own destruction. It happened at 2:47 in the morning. The GPS signal from his secondary vehicle went completely dark. His executive assistant believed he was conducting site inspections near Busan. But Jae-sung had swapped cars hours earlier, obliterated his smartphone, and staged a calculated collision on a deserted stretch of road near an old factory district. By dawn, authorities discovered the wreckage, mangled metal, his blood smeared across the dashboard, personal belongings scattered inside, but no body anywhere. The media detonated. Business tycoon vanishes after suspicious crash. Search and rescue teams mobilized across 3 provinces. Min Jae-sung presumed critically injured or dead. While an entire nation scrambled to locate its most powerful heir, he lay crumpled in a filthy alley almost 80 kilometers away, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead, chest barely rising, completely and utterly alone. Chioma wasn't looking for trouble when she stepped outside the late-night mart she cleaned after midnight shifts. It was almost 4:30 when she emerged with garbage bags in both hands. The sky still held darkness. Streets lay empty except for flickering neon signs and a faint gasping sound that made her freeze mid-step. First thought? Another drunk. This neighborhood saw plenty. But then she noticed the blood pooling near the gutter. A man, clearly Korean, tall frame folded awkwardly, designer shirt shredded, face drained of color, eyes struggling to focus. He attempted standing, but his legs buckled immediately. Something about how he clutched his side desperately made her drop everything and rush forward. "Hey, can you understand me? What happened to you?" She crouched beside him, heart pounding. He blinked slowly, confusion clouding his features, then managed one broken whisper. I don't remember." Chioma survived by working multiple jobs simultaneously just to keep her cramped studio apartment livable. Drama wasn't something she had bandwidth for, especially not bleeding strangers with no identification. But his voice, so shattered, so genuinely lost, stopped her from walking away. She hoisted half his weight onto her narrow shoulders, half dragged him 3 blocks to her building, used her limited first aid supplies to patch visible wounds. By sunrise, she'd made 2 firm decisions. First, he definitely had a serious head injury. Second, keeping him outside in this area would get him killed. He couldn't remember his own identity, so she assigned him one. "Until your memory comes back, I'm calling you Tae." Jae-sung, now Tae, woke in surroundings so foreign they might as well have been another dimension entirely. Crumbling walls. A ceiling fan that wheezed with every rotation. Sleeping pad directly on concrete flooring. Across the cramped space, a woman with deep brown skin and exhausted eyes stirred something in a dented pot on a single electric burner. He observed silently, uncertain whether speaking or moving or breaking down was appropriate. For the first time in 3 decades, Min Jae-sung possessed no name, no corporate title, no crushing expectations weighing on his chest. He was invisible. And while terrifying, it also felt strangely liberating. Chioma didn't interrogate him much. She shared her meager food, gave him breathing room, warned him never to answer the door for strangers. "You carry yourself like money," she explained flatly. "That makes you a target here." He remained mostly quiet, but his eyes captured everything. How she triple-locked windows before sleeping. How her entire body tensed when police sirens wailed past. How she returned from exhausting shifts with blistered hands, never once voicing complaints. She didn't care about his previous existence. She simply focused on surviving each day. And he desperately needed to stay hidden, at least temporarily. Meanwhile, outside that tiny sanctuary, chaos reigned. News helicopters circled the crash site. Dive teams searched rivers. Private investigators followed every phantom lead. Jae-sung's father held a press conference, fury radiating from every syllable, promising to locate his son no matter the cost. Every hour he remained missing, the world grew more convinced of tragedy. But Jae-sung felt nothing about their panic. Not yet. Because inside those 4 humble walls, eating simple meals and watching streetlights flicker through cracked glass, something dormant inside him began stirring back to life. He was feeling again. Late one evening, Chioma stood blocking the doorway, arms crossed defensively. "I don't have a clue who you really are," she said softly. "But until your mind clears, you're under my protection. Just don't make me sorry I helped." He met her gaze, something dark flickering there. "You won't regret it," he promised. But guilt already gnawed at his insides. Because eventually the truth would surface. And when it did, he might lose the only person who'd ever treated him like he mattered simply for being human. Lies have this quality. They decay gradually, poisoning everything they touch. Initially, Chioma noticed nothing alarming. Tae was respectful, quiet, genuinely helpful around the apartment. He never discussed his background, never grumbled, just silently adapted to her world. But tiny fractures were appearing. It started with how he handled household items. While helping with laundry, she noticed his folding technique, crisp corners, perfect symmetry, almost mechanical precision. Then came the incident with her malfunctioning rice cooker. He disassembled it, examined internal components, then commented, "This model's obsolete. The newer Samsung versions have smart temperature control." She paused. "How would you know something that specific?" Too long a silence before he answered. "Must have seen an advertisement somewhere." Another day, passing an upscale boutique, Chioma admired a leather bag displayed prominently. Without thinking, Tay remarked, "That's a limited Chanel classic flap. Retails around 3 million won." She stared. "How do you just know that?" He looked genuinely embarrassed. "Lucky guess, maybe?" But patterns kept emerging. He spoke formal business Korean when assisting a neighbor with legal documents. His email composition was corporate-level professional. He bowed in that particular way only Seoul's upper echelon practiced. And one evening, she caught him frozen before a television during financial news coverage. The broadcast showed footage from an industry gala. His expression went completely blank. The screen transitioned to a photo labeled "Still Missing Min Jae-sung, heir to Min Corporation." Same bone structure. Same careful posture. Same man sitting in her apartment. Chioma felt the air leave her lungs. It was him. She said nothing that night. But next morning, she positioned herself across the table, arms folded, pulse racing. "Who are you really?" Not a question. A demand. Tae Jae-sung looked up slowly. His mouth opened but produced no sound. "I want complete honesty. Not fragments. Everything." He swallowed hard. "I didn't plan to deceive you." "Then why did you?" Long pause. Then it all came pouring out. "My name is Min Jae-sung. I'm CEO of Min Corporation. My family arranged a marriage I couldn't endure. So I staged that car accident. I orchestrated my own disappearance. The amnesia, the false trail, all calculated. But ending up here with you? That was never part of any plan." Chioma stood so abruptly her chair scraped loudly. "You used me," she whispered. "You let me drag your bleeding body inside, feed you with the little I had, while hiding everything." "No," he said urgently, standing too. "Meeting you wasn't calculated. You saved my life. I swear I never intended." "Intended what?" she snapped, voice trembling. "You made me care about someone who never even existed." Tears burned her eyes, but she refused release. She retreated to her room, door slamming hard. Behind it, she finally shattered. Next day, the world exploded. Someone from Chioma's restaurant job posted anonymously online. A grainy photo of Jae-sung carrying supply boxes. A few strategic clicks, some promised reward money, and everything combusted. Korean business heir found living with African woman in poor district. Anonymous tipster claims 10 million Korean won's reward. Who is the foreign woman sheltering Korea's most wanted bachelor? Paparazzi descended within hours like locusts. Cameras everywhere. Microphones thrust at her face. Strangers screaming questions. "Are you involved romantically? Did you know who he was? Are you pregnant with his child?" She couldn't leave for work. Chioma tried maintaining composure, but nobody cared about facts. They saw sensational headlines. Her kindness became scandal fodder. Jae-sung's father arrived personally. Black luxury sedan, tinted windows, armed security detail. The man was imposing, cold, radiating disapproval. He didn't thank Chioma. Didn't acknowledge her existence beyond a dismissive glance around her modest home. Just turned to his son with icy command. "We're leaving. Now." Jae-sung hesitated. Looked at Chioma one final time. Her arms stayed crossed, face unreadable. "I'll make this right," he whispered. She said nothing. His departure didn't end the nightmare. Online forums tore her apart systematically. People excavated her old social media profiles. Accusations flew: gold digger, opportunist, worse. Some defended her, but it changed nothing. She couldn't walk anywhere without recognition. The convenience store fired her for bringing unwanted attention. Neighbors avoided eye contact. Some whispered. Others openly stared. Her phone exploded with messages from strangers. "You should be ashamed. Go back where you came from. How much did he pay you?" She stopped responding. Stopped eating properly. Stopped smiling. Eventually stopped feeling secure anywhere. 5 weeks later, Chioma booked a one-way flight home to Nigeria. She told no one. Not even the few people who'd shown genuine kindness. Her last morning in Korea was silent. She walked through familiar streets wearing a headscarf, mentally saying goodbye to places she'd once loved: the subway station, the corner cafe, the rooftop where she'd laughed with someone who wasn't supposed to matter but did. On the plane, as Seoul's lights disappeared beneath clouds, Chioma gazed down at the city where she'd chased dreams and lost pieces of herself instead. She thought about the man she'd rescued, healed, protected. The man who'd given her fragile hope, then taken it with him when he left. He hadn't just escaped his old existence. He'd run from her too. As clouds swallowed the view, Chioma released the last fragment of him she'd been clutching. Or tried to anyway. Time transforms people. Some it hardens like stone. Others it clarifies like purified water. For Min Jae-sung, it accomplished both. Returning to his family's glass tower empire, the old world no longer fit properly. The sterile office. The hostile boardroom. The relentless camera flashes. None of it brought peace anymore. Everything looked different through new eyes. He rejected the arranged marriage first. This triggered immediate family warfare. His father threatened disinheritance, called him foolish, called him weak. But Jae-sung didn't flinch. "I'd rather lose the entire company," he stated quietly, "than lose myself again." Next, he canceled the corporate merger. Years of strategic planning between Korea's two largest conglomerates demolished in a single announcement. Shareholders revolted. Senior executives resigned en masse. Headlines screamed betrayal. But Jae-sung stood firm. Then came the real transformation. Restructuring the toxic culture inside Min Corporation. He increased salaries, promoted overlooked talent, terminated corrupt board members, shifted the company's mission toward social impact over pure profit maximization. The same man who once operated in isolated silence now walked his own building with rolled sleeves, greeting custodial staff, listening to junior employees. But one piece remained missing. Her. Every night, thoughts of Chioma consumed him, the woman with fire in her voice and grace in her actions. The one who never cared about his wealth, his status, his pedigree. He searched quietly, carefully. Didn't want causing more pain or media attention. Avoided reporters, hired only one discreet private investigator, kept everything completely off the radar. Then one day, after months of searching, his phone rang. She was in Lagos. Back home, Chioma was rebuilding from nothing. With her remaining savings, she rented small commercial space in Yaba, Lagos's creative heartbeat. There, among artists and dreamers, she transformed her pain into patterns. Her fashion brand, It with Grave, gradually gained recognition. Bold designs fusing Ankara prints with Korean aesthetics, hanbok-inspired jackets crafted from vibrant African wax fabric, traditional buba tops with clean K-fashion colors. Something entirely new. Something fearless. Just like her. She smiled more frequently now. Worked long hours. Ate spicy suya with her younger brother during evenings. Laughter returned. But some nights, when Lagos quieted and the sky turned deep indigo, she still thought about him. The man she'd found bleeding in that Korean alley. The one who folded clothes with impossible precision. The one who'd kissed her palm once without speaking. The one who'd broken her. It was a brilliant morning when he appeared. Chioma was in her shop, pinning fabric to a dress form, when a tall man in a plain black shirt and worn jeans entered. She didn't glance up immediately. One moment, "I'll be right with." She froze. Turned slowly. There he stood. No designer suit. No security detail. No polished facade. Just Jae-sung. Real. Human. Vulnerable. Her heart hammered, but her expression stayed neutral. "What are you doing here?" He swallowed visibly. "Looking for you." Her fingers tightened around a straight pin. "You shouldn't have come." "I know," he said gently. "But I had to." They sat in silence in her shop's corner. Lagos traffic hummed outside. The scent of akara drifted from a street vendor. The city pulsed with life, but between them stillness. "You vanished," she finally said. "Just like that." "I had no choice," he replied. "They dragged me out. I didn't get to say anything. You had a phone. Resources. You could have reached out. I didn't want dragging that chaos back to your doorstep." "Well, you did anyway. And it nearly destroyed me." Her voice cracked then. "I lost everything, Jae-sung. My job. My peace. My reputation. The internet still thinks I was your dirty little secret. He leaned forward. You were never a secret. You were the only authentic thing I had. She looked away. Her eyes burned, but she refused crying again. You lied to me. I did, he said honestly. And I'll carry that regret forever. But I'm not here trying to erase the past. I'm here to build something new if you'll allow it. He reached into his bag, retrieved a small box. Not jewelry. Not a ring. Inside was folded fabric, African wax print perfectly sewn into a Korean-style jacket. Your designs inspired me. I've been wearing them in Seoul. People keep asking where I got them. I want to help you take A with Grave Global. Her lips parted. You came here to invest? No, he said quickly. I came here to stay. She blinked. What? I resigned from CEO position 2 weeks ago. Sold significant shares to my younger sister. She's the real business genius anyway. I want to live for something that makes me feel complete, not just wealthy. He looked directly into her eyes, voice trembling. I came back for you. Chioma stood. Walked to the window. Watched the street below, people hustling, laughing, living without fear. Could she really trust him again? Risk her heart once more? He'd lied. But he'd also changed. She turned around slowly. You hurt me, she said, voice heavy. I know. I don't trust easily. I'll earn it. Silence stretched between them. Then she walked closer, stopped just inches away. Looked up. Tell me something honest, she whispered. He reached for her hand, placed it gently against his chest. The man you saved, he said, emotion thick in his voice, was trying to escape his world. But with you, I discovered a new one worth running toward. Her eyes softened. This time, she didn't stop the tears. That evening, under Lagos's deep orange sky, as the sun sank behind crowded rooftops and children chased plastic bags in the breeze, Chioma and Jae-sung stood on her shop's small balcony. No cameras. No secrets. No lies. He leaned down. She met him halfway. Their kiss wasn't polished. It was trembling, raw, real. But it was the beginning of something that would finally have no ending. 2 hearts. No masks. No running. Just home.